What are movie ratings in Australia?
Oh, we have some weird ones. We have like C for children,
Oh,
and then like G for general audience, which is like 8 plus.
we don't
But
we
yeah,
don't
we
have
got
a
it- we got it
children's
out.
rating. We just have G. Is the
Well, that's the
lowest
thing.
one.
I always thought we had like just G, but then I saw a C one the other year, like a couple of years ago, and I was like, "What?
Yeah, that's
What
weird.
is this?" That was on like Elmo Goes to Grouchland or something.
What were you doing seeing Elmo Goes to Grouchland?
It's a great movie. It's quality entertainment.
snoCast. Hello, everyone. What is going on? Welcome to another brand new snoCast. I have a very special guest with me today. I'm pointing the wrong way over here on this side. As you can see, the unbelievably amazing and incredible Alan Rickman is joining us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
In character as Snape. It's amazing.
Oh, it's your number one boy. It's Casposaurus. Everybody loves me.
Yeah,
Hi,
it's
guys.
not Alan Rickman. It's Casposaurus. If you could read, you would know. But yes, I'm joined by Casposaurus. How are you doing, man?
I'm not bad. How are you?
I'm doing swell. Just super good.
That's good.
Just had some dinner, so I'm set and ready.
Yeah, man. I wish I'd thought of that.
Well, what time is it for you there, though?
I mean, it's like 10:30 in the morning. But coffee is generally my breakfast. So I mean, if you want to do a podcast about food, I'm keen on that.
Oh, man, let's do it. You know what? Forget today's topic. We're going food all the way. Yeah, so if you don't know, Casposaurus is in Australia, and I'm in the northwest United States. So there is a huge time difference. What is it, 17 hours?
Yeah. I'm 17 hours ahead of you in the future.
Yeah.
Coming to you live.
Yeah, so it's straight up Sunday morning for you, which is crazy.
Yeah. Not not great when you have to plan out times for a podcast.
Yeah, it's been a little tricky, but we're here and we're doing it now, so sounds good to me. I've been looking forward to having Casp on. It's going to be a really good talk today. We have a very interesting topic that's going to be interesting to talk about because I think we have vastly different just experiences with this topic and all sorts of things like that. But we're going to be talking about Steam and just everything about Steam as an entity.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. Man, I'm just trying to even think back. Like, oh, actually, you know what? Before we dive in, because I want to just chomp at the bit and talk about Steam. But before we dive into that, as is tradition, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do on the YouTube space, Casp, so we can check you out in the future.
So clearly, I'm Casposaurus.
Not Alan Rickman.
Not Alan Rickman yet. That is the dream, though. That's the end game.
On your way, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, to say that I'm a polarizing figure is the understatement of the year. I like to inflame wherever I can, and I don't know, man. I just like to be honest with everybody, and I think that's why. But I also make content when I'm not making everybody angry, and it's all right. It's been worse.
It is content.
Yeah, it's content. That's about it.
No, don't undersell yourself. Gas makes really good stuff, analytical things, talking point videos, reviews, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I generally stick to reviews, but, where I think another voice is needed in the space of YouTube, I will be there.
Yeah. He makes me think. That's what I always like. In particular, just one that recently comes to mind was one about piracy and Hotline Miami 2, and that was a really good video.
Oh, thanks, man.
So anyway, check him out. As always, he'll be in the description below and on the end slate, and you can check out his stuff. Amazing content. We were just talking that we haven't talked in person yet, but we've, been in chat with each other for a while, so it's good to actually get talking.
Yeah, it's nice to, because text it's not great.
It's not
especially
the
for
same.
me.
I don't get to hear that beautiful accent of yours. So,
Oh, that's my croaky voice.
so anyway, yes, our topic today is Steam, and this is a funny one because we originally weren't going to talk about Steam today, but then they went and done something goofy, and so we thought to be on topic and like current with events, we had to talk about Steam.
Yeah, we gotta get that kid money. Kids love Steam.
Yeah, you talk about Steam, people will come, right?
That's right.
As the old saying goes. So the newest and current in the news about Steam, because they've had a few things in recent history about the way they operate and has caused alarm and also just intrigue and question marks above people's heads all over the world. The most recent is that they now officially have refunds on Steam. And it's something. What do you think about that?
I think we should have planned a laugh track for the end of that sentence. That would have been great. Refunds.
Yeah.
It feels like PR. Just like a good PR after all their recent paid mods and
right.
just being Valve.
So maybe we should back up a little bit because this paid mods was about a month ago, right?
Yeah, it feels like forever ago because they went back on it so quickly.
Yes, they did. So give us like the 1 minute spiel. What was the deal with paid mods that happened?
All right, so effectively, Valve decided to start charging for specific mods for specific games, sort of partnered with the companies that made them and the people who wanted to monetize them. So you had just a bunch of random mods with price tags on them, and everybody got a cut, especially Valve.
Mm-hmm.
And people were not happy.
Right. Because that had basically never been done before, right? It's like mods were
a lot of
never
modders use like Patreon or just do it for fun. But no, man, Valve needs to get that money where they can.
Right, because Valve is so hurting.
Oh, they're hard off.
Right. Yeah, people were very upset, to say the least.
Yeah, I think when you unify the entire internet, you know you've done something horribly wrong.
It was something like that, wasn't it? It was so funny because Steam has done things in the past where people have thought, I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. But this, everybody, this unanimous voice in backlash.
I think even the modders, even some modders who were like charging for their stuff, were like, yeah, this is a dumb idea, but I'm here for the shekels. So,
right. They're
whatever.
like, I know I'm getting paid for this, but I still don't agree.
Yeah, it was so great.
Uh-huh. Now, to be fair, they did take it back. They basically said, take these backsies and forget that it didn't happen.
It blew straight over. It was great.
But they also, and I did think this was kind of neat, that they did like an AMA on Reddit after that too, to kind of smooth things over, let people ask questions, and I think Gabe did that. I don't know if you saw that, but
I don't think I did. I'm not a big Reddit person.
Yeah,
I wish I had.
It was like a couple days after, and I think it was before they repealed it, or maybe it was right after. Either way. He basically said, hey, like, I'm here to answer questions. Like, let's just lay it all out on the floor and go from here. And so, to their credit, at least they were trying to reach out and say,
at least they tried to contain the storm instead of just being like, oh, guys, just give us some more money.
Because it was that huge. Because I think that was part of it. In, like, the description on the AMA, he was like, so I woke up this morning to 20,000 emails from everybody about... Yeah, so, I mean, to their credit, at least to that, the whole thing still was really fishy and silly, but to their credit, at least they did try a little bit to go back and hear voices and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But it was a big goof, regardless.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was, about a month ago, I think. And then now, out of nowhere, I don't think anybody expected this either. The whole refund thing?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was... I never thought we would ever get Steam saying like, "Hey, we're liable for your stupid decisions." I never thought we'd see that.
Right. It almost seems just so backward against almost like a different company, you know, with trying to sneak in a paid mods thing. And it's like, yeah, sneaky here, pay us money for mods. And then now they're like, take all our money back.
Yeah, and it's really weird because with the big launch of like early access and stuff like that, they came out with a really strong stance against refunds for early access games.
Yeah.
They were like, look, if you buy it, you're stuck with it, and that's it. So it's weird to see such a short-term flop.
Right, because they have the disclaimers on any early access game, and you know, they could totally, that releases them of liability to just say, you bought it, you were warned, whatever.
Yeah, they actually didn't have those warnings for, I think it was the first 3 or so months of early access.
Yeah.
Which would, and they just put them with all the regular games as well. Yeah. It's like on top of not refunding them, that was a dark time for Steam.
Right, and that was bad. That was definitely bad. See, it's funny, though, because Steam does have kind of a history of that, right? And it's funny because I personally have never had, like, super bad experiences with Steam. But I've definitely heard just about their PR and connection to customers and customer service is very poor. And that's just what I've heard over the last several years. Is that something you'd agree with?
I mean, that's the thing. I tried to get DayZ refunded because, you know, it's DayZ. And I that's the only sort of bad time I've had with them, but it wasn't really a bad time because they were just restating sort of a pre-established rule. But, you know, I own 650 games. Like, I love Steam.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny because I checked my count too. I think I have something like 280, and I thought I had a lot. That's a lot of games.
So that's it's hard not to buy because it's so cheap.
Yes.
So like during those dark periods, because Valve just is a roller coaster of really dumb and really smart decisions.
Right.
It's so hard to justify it, but it's so cheap, and there's a motorcycle driving past. I'm sorry if that picks up.
It's all right. It just sounds like your grumbly tummy. Don't worry about it. Yes, it's funny because like Valve as a company, I respect greatly, and I love their games and all that stuff. And then Steam is like, I mean, I've been on Steam since forever ago, long time. I think I went back today to look at all my purchase history, and since like 2007, so almost 10 years of using Steam.
Predates me by 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, way back in like early Counter-Strike days, that was like the only game I had kind of thing. And so I go way back with them, and yet it does seem like that's kind of the general thought with their customer service and stuff, is that it's pretty poor. They're not too great at connecting and doing right by their customers. At least that's what I've heard, and the rumor is. Yeah,
I think you get a lot of that from just most people, because like you hear about the bad experiences more than you hear about the neutral or the pleasant ones.
That's true, yeah.
Like, people slag Origin all the time, and like I hate Origin, but I don't think their customer service is that bad.
Right.
Like, it can't be. Come on, guys.
Right. People more just see, and I think that's the opposite, where people just don't like the company. So it's not so much the Origin is bad.
Delicious confirmation bias.
Exactly. So anyway, they have established a extremely lenient, as it would seem, refund policy.
To say the least.
According to what I looked it up a little bit, it says for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like that's
it's just no questions asked. If it hits the criteria, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I did look, because there is a little bit of criteria, but it's interesting. So what I found is, if it's within the first 14 days that you purchase the game, if you've played less than 2 hours of the game, then no questions asked, you will be refunded. But what's interesting is you can still issue your request for refundal anyway, even if that's not the case.
Yeah.
So that's what's really crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to sort of get into the specifics of the criteria yet, but it's, I don't know. A lot of people have come out in favor of it But then there's a select few who are like, oh, it's bad because what if a game's shorter than 2 hours? People are just going to refund it.
Well, let's dive into it.
I don't... Yeah.
Because that's a good point, right? There are lots of games that are shorter than that.
Yeah, especially like if you consider, I guess, roguelikes and roguelites. One playthrough is generally less than 2 hours, and people are vain. They'll get angry about that stuff. Like if you lose in a game and it's hard, I rage quit that stuff. You want your money back, in the short term. So I can see that sort of being a bad thing,
right? Something that I think one of the first things I thought of is, so now it's just because now that it's an option, I feel like there's going to be a ton of refunds being offered, like just out the gate. I think a ton of requests will be issued, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing I thought is, so does that take back from the cuts from the companies, the developers, or is it all Steam? And that's what I don't know.
Yeah, it's because they couldn't exactly take money from indies.
Right.
Like that would, because then indies, like they're going to stop using the platform. I don't think that many people will refund games, but if they did, that would like destroy small companies.
That's
too many
what
refunds were.
I'm saying is like, what if, so all of a sudden out of nowhere, some small indie dev gets 100, 200 copies of their game refunded. Are they able to afford to pay that back? Is that part of the process? I don't know, because that's not easily accessed public information of how it's divvied up and all that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't wish they released that because I'm sure they have their reasons.
Right.
It would be nice to know though, so I didn't feel like a scumbag if I wanted to refund a game.
Right. Yeah, because I think that was my first gut, was like, man, like I would feel bad like if it's taking back money from a struggling indie dev or something. So, but
yeah,
I don't know that.
There's something to be said for like making a bad game, but I'm generally willing to part with a couple of dollars because like to test a potentially good game. And like if it's bad, that's all right. Like a developer gets a couple bucks, I get a bad experience, but it's all right. And I don't take the food from their mouths.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Valve have this great thing where they're never transparent enough.
Yeah. So
like what seems great on the outside could actually be the most sinister, destructive thing to ever be created. I don't think people will refund that much, honestly.
Yeah, and maybe that's, it's blowing it out of proportion a little bit. Maybe it won't happen that much.
I'd hope not, because I like to think that like Australia has consumer law, but I like to think that people are still responsible for their own decisions. Like if you take away all liability from customers, then they just go crazy.
Yeah. Well, here's what's funny is so today I did this to kind of research a little bit. I went on their site where you can request the refunds and went through all of my purchase history, and a lot of it was like through bundles, through like Humble Bundles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at least it would say like some of them were gifted because of that and things like that. But all the ones that were eligible and I could send a request in for, I realized, at least with myself, I didn't want to part with them, For the most part, most any game I own, I don't want to give up my right to ever play it again. I still wanted it in my library, even if I don't play it, which is kind of silly, but but for some reason I couldn't bring myself to part with them. I was like, yeah, I mean, I played it once and, I didn't beat that game, or, I didn't get around to that one. Like, I didn't want to refund any of them.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I don't think a lot of people will sort of refund games that they're just done with. Because, like, if you refund a game and then you buy it again, Valve's going to be like, hang on, what's going on here?
Right.
Like, it's always nice to have it there. So that's... Because I was thinking about this as well. Like, what's to stop people from just being like, oh, this game, I played 2 hours of it, or like I'm returning it within 14 days and I beat it, or I got what I wanted from it, and I want my money back so I can do that to another game. But yeah, I definitely think it's the fact that people like to play games. Like, they'd like to know that they can just go back whenever they want and play the games that they own.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, if you refund a game and then you buy it again, Valve's going to be like, what's going on, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Well, what's weird, too, is they also had a section in it about abuse policy, because they wanted to address that right off. You know, it's like, we don't want you to abuse it. So, like, if you do it excessively with a whole ton of games, we're going to kind of look at it with question. But they specifically stated, and this I thought was really funny, was they don't consider it abuse if you buy a game at full price and then refund it to buy it at a lower price. Which was funny, because that's something that I've seen happen to people, like with Steam sales, right? Where they'll buy a game at full price and then Steam's summer sale starts the next day and the game is 80% off, and they're like, oh, what have I done?
I've been burned by that as well.
Exactly, right? And I think, you know, there's... Or even like during the sale, it's like, ooh, that's cheap, I'll get it. And then the next day, it's a daily deal for even more off, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They specifically stated that's okay. If you accidentally bought a game for more than what a sale is now, you can refund it.
That's... I don't know how I feel about that.
Right, it's like, wow. I mean, that is a big step for them to say.
Because, like, they have to go through the whole process of, like... You know, like, oh, I bought this game a couple days ago for $20 and now it's down to $15. Like, let's do a lot of paperwork to save me $5.
It is. It does seem like a lot of work on their end.
Yeah, I can't imagine it would be an easy process.
Right.
Although, given how lenient they are, they've probably streamlined it to a point where they can just be like, yeah, that's refunded.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering, because they're saying you can issue requests even if it doesn't meet the criteria. And so I wonder how lenient they are on it, or if everyone is looked at and, you know, seeing if it's valid or not, or if they are super lenient and just like, if you request it, you'll get it. And I don't know.
I think what we should do is, because I think most people own DayZ at this point, I think we should organize a movement, hashtag refund a DayZ, and we'll just see how lenient Valve are.
Have everybody refund a DayZ.
Yeah, we'll all do it at the same time. We'll tank the developer. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Well, here's something really odd, and I did wonder this. When I was going back through and looking at my bought games, one of the first ones I ever bought was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, but it was newer at the time. I think I got it, it said it was like $45 purchased. So what if I request a refund for Call of Duty 4? Will they refund me $45, or will they say, no, that game is like 8 years old, it's only worth $10 now? You know?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Because, like, if I could go back through and refund all the games I paid full price for, which are now like $5 each,
yeah,
I'm going to be rich.
Exactly.
By the end of the day.
That makes more sense than now when I think about that they want to do it within 14 days. Because then more often than not, that won't be the case. The price changes. But again, I wonder how lenient they're going to be, because if there was any game on my list of bought games, that was one I thought, hey, if I can get $45 for Call of Duty 4 that I'll never play ever again, totally. But something tells me they wouldn't pay me back that full amount.
Yeah, I have a feeling. They'd look at the updated price and be like, "Oh, that's $2.50 now."
Yeah,
enjoy that.
Exactly. So it's all very interesting, and it's all new, so we don't know exactly how it's going to work. But I will say, I saw on Twitter, one of my friends that I follow on Twitter said he sent in tons of requests, lots of games, and he got like $180 back in his Steam wallet, and they just all went through. So.
Damn.
Maybe that's one case, but...
Maybe, because like Valve have the whole marketplace and all that sort of thing. Maybe they just have these giant reserves of like card and like gun money from Counter-Strike, and they're just like, yeah, just take it out of the card money, Larry.
Right. I mean, it's really interesting, because I wonder kind of the inner workings and how that's all going to work, but...
Yeah.
But
makes me want to go refund all my games now.
Right. and there are a lot of them that I got them on super cheap sales. So it's the reverse effect. I bought it for $3.75, but regular price it's $15. I'm sure they'd only refund the $3.75.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. I think I don't even know, because they said that you can't refund gifts. Like, that's a thing. So I guess if it comes up as a gift, then that's a no-go. And I think the Humble Bundle stuff does now. I could be wrong.
Well, it's weird. Humble Bundle used to do the CD keys. So you would get the code and input the code. So then it would have counted as a gift or just a, keyed gift. And now they connect it through your account. So I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't checked my purchase history for recent Humble games. So that'd be interesting, because if that doesn't come up as a gift, you could just exploit that.
Yeah, I think, and I'm pretty sure, because I checked today, that it lists those as free, even though they were.
Oh, okay.
Even though I bought them through Humble Bundle, I think through Steam it was free, so it probably just read it as a gift.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
It's really complicated, and I mean, there's a lot to it. It makes you wonder all the different aspects of it. But
well, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to try anything too risky, because, like I said, I have 650 something games, so I don't want to chance losing all of those. But I just want to just refund like 500 and something games and just see what happens.
Right. Yeah, it makes you wonder how far you could take it, because they mentioned the abuse stuff, but I don't know what that means. It's pretty vague as far as any specific numbers or anything. But
yeah,
so
OP hashtag refund DayZ.
Yeah,
everybody,
make it happen.
Let's do it.
Everybody, refund DayZ.
Let's get wealth.
Overall, though, what do you think? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's definitely a good thing. I think there's too much liability put on customers, like, and consumers at the moment. It's like, with the whole like early access thing, and Steam just opened the floodgates to a bunch of crap. It's too hard to be responsible for your own actions, which sucks to say, but it's true.
I think
there's just so much garbage.
I think that plays a big role in it, the early access stuff. I think the whole thing with Steam Greenlight and early access and all that being a big issue on Steam of late, and that could be a whole separate topic, of just early access and all that stuff. I think that's a big part of it. That I think they did open the floodgates, as you said, and so maybe this is a part to help counteract that. That if you bought a total garbage game and you didn't expect it to be total garbage, you have an opportunity now to get that money back. Yeah,
and I think because there are a lot of people who try to game the system, and they'll release just things that barely function, and people will buy it because it's look at me, I bought Bad Rats, aren't I funny? But
right.
I mean, I'm not going to hate on Bad Rats. It's a pretty good game, but what was that one that was like it was like Flappy Birds, and then you could like walk around a 3D plane that was just default Unity texture, not textures, models and stuff.
Yeah,
and like that guy probably made a lot of money.
Well, and there was like a huge surge of simulator games and all that stuff, and some of them were okay, but a lot of them were terrible.
I mean, my favorite simulator, I think, is probably Grass Simulator.
Right.
There's nothing more fun than watching grass grow.
I think there was a paint dry simulator.
Oh, no.
Watch paint dry. But so when you see it like that, that makes a lot of sense. It's like, okay, it's definitely a good thing. I agree. I think it's a step in the right direction, and it does give a bit more buffer zone for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
even if it's a bit sort of Wild West at the moment, where everyone's just like, oh, I can get $30 and buy The Witcher 3 from like trading in a couple of old games that I'll never play again.
Yeah.
As long as it's coming out of Valve's pocket, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and again, that's the part that I don't know, but I would suspect that is the case, because that, again, it seems a bit more complicated if you're including the developers and all that stuff, and who exactly do you pay it back to? Who do you get it from?
Yeah, because there's a lot of games on Steam where the developers don't even exist anymore.
Right.
So they're like tracing back like Brian Wilson, who used to work at like Retrovision or something, and
yeah,
like, hey man, you owe us like $16,000.
Right, yeah, you got all refunded. Give it back now. I know you're all bankrupt, but we need it more.
Yeah, we need it more than you, and your crippling debt.
Yeah, I definitely do think it's a good thing. It's obviously complicated, and there's a lot more to it than originally meets the eye, but it makes me think about just how other normal stores and everything operate, right? Because you can obviously refund things at stores, and even like in game stores specifically, like GameStop and stuff, even if you don't get a lot of money back for it, you have the option of selling back games, or the process of like renting games from places and all that. It makes it a little bit similar to those now.
Yeah. What is the go with that? Because I know that you guys don't. I know that like Total Biscuit makes fun of Americans all the time for not having a consumer law. But how do you guys go with like refunds in general?
It's funny because like Target. I don't know if you have Target in Australia, but it's
yeah, we do.
Okay.
Some people call it Target, and that makes me so angry.
Target. We've gone to Target before to return things, and if you have a receipt, no problem, no questions asked, get it all back. If you don't have a receipt, but you have the card that you used to buy it with, they can use that, so that's fine, no questions asked, all money back. You can even return something with no receipt, not the same card, but you have like a limited number of those per year or something.
Okay.
So like you can even just like, we bought a vacuum from Target. We have done this. We returned our vacuum that didn't work anymore. It like overheated or something, with no record of us buying it, and then used that money that we got refunded to buy a better vacuum.
Damn.
So we bought like a better vacuum for like $20 because it was only $20 more than the one we bought originally.
Is it like that everywhere, or is that just a Target
I don't
policy?
know. I don't know specifically, but I thought that as we were in that process, that's a pretty lenient policy.
Yeah, it's almost a little too lenient. Like that's more lenient than most places here. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if Total Biscuit's word is anything to go by, we have a consumer law and you guys don't really. So,
well, elaborate on yours a bit. What's like the consumer law for your, where you're at?
So I did a little bit of reading before this because I didn't want to look like a complete ass. Mm-hmm. And it's effectively, if like it covers like manufacturer faults, if it doesn't like survive a certain period, you have every right to take it back. Mm-hmm. Because I think consumer law sort of establishes that if it's sold to you, it's sold to you with a guaranteed lifespan of a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. So like if you get a DVD player and the laser burns out in, let's say, 6 months, you can probably take that back, and like the company can't contest that because of the law.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like if you take it back 13 years later, clearly they're like, look, you got a good run out of this. Mm-hmm. We're not refunding this.
Yeah. So
it's just sort of, I mean, it falls to the customer side a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you tell a customer you're not giving their money back, then, I mean, they'll never shop with you again. So, I mean, I'm sure it's there for good reason, but it's a little too on the customer side. Yeah, I think the same problem is with this Steam refund thing.
We don't have the law specifically, but basically what we have is like warranties. And so if your product breaks within the warranty period, you can get your money back. And that's with most products. So like you'll get warranties on most appliances like refrigerators, dishwashers, things like that. But what's funny, and it's kind of just like a joke that happens often here, is your thing will break right after the warranty is up.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what happens here as well.
Yeah. And so like, and phones too, like phones is a big one where you have a 2-year warranty on your phone, but then your phone breaks after 2 years and 1 month. And so it's like, and so that, I do think Target is more lenient than most places. Most places here with a receipt, you could easily refund things most of the time, no questions asked, especially like clothes or like simple things like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were like cave people, and like if you bought something, you were stuck with it just
No.
on what everyone's been saying. So I'm glad that you guys aren't foreign to the whole refund thing.
No, I definitely think for the most part you won't have trouble returning things if they don't meet your satisfaction.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good. That's good. I thought everyone was going to be like praising Valve because no one else had ever done it, and I clearly need to read up on the Americas a bit more.
Well, and this is why I was actually really looking forward to this cast, because we obviously are in very different places with different laws and different things in place for being a consumer, and so we have different perspectives on the whole thing.
Yeah. Apparently not as much as we thought.
Right, yeah, it sounds pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I was just thinking that it made me think that it's more similar now to just like going to a store and returning something that you didn't like, and just is making it more like that.
Yeah. It's harder because it's not a physical product either. It's like you can't resell that and you can't really do anything with it. It's a license effectively.
Yeah.
Like you're returning a license, and it's baffling. And I guess it's because I'm not trained in business.
Yeah.
I'm not formally educated in business, so that's probably why it sort of baffles me. But it's nice that they're trying to make up for their past mistakes and make Steam a better experience for me.
Yeah.
When I refund all my games and get The Witcher for free.
Just all you got to do, man, is just return that DayZ and you're good to go. What you were saying about digital made me think too, because you're right. It's a lot more complicated just with digital media in general. It gets more complicated, and what exactly is it you're buying and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know that a few years ago they wouldn't like when you bought a computer game retail, because people did that. They wouldn't refund those because they came with a CD key. So they were like a one use. They were like, make sure you know that your computer can run it before you buy it.
Exactly.
Which is, I mean, it's brutal, but it's understandable, because once you've used that key, the game's useless to everybody else. So I guess it's kind of like a perishable. It's like if you buy chocolate and then you eat it and you're like, oh, I didn't like it, give me my money back. Like, well, you ate it.
Right. It is interesting though, because Steam was the first real product that I saw where you could have that on more than one computer, right? Because exactly what you're talking about with CD keys and all that, you buy a CD and you install it on your computer by putting it in, but then that's it. You know, you can't put it on another computer after because it's already been registered and all that.
Yeah.
So Steam kind of broke the mold for me anyway in that, because any other games I'd seen before that were exactly that. Like, you go buy it in the store in the box, and then you take out the CD and install it, where now it was all digital.
Yeah, I think GOG has a really good refund policy. I think it's roughly what Steam's is, but instead of 14, it's 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
But I've only heard about that. I haven't actually read up on that, so don't. I mean, I'm not saying I'm right, but
I mean,
you know.
It's funny though, because now that it is here, it makes me realize, like, I'm surprised they didn't have it before, because it does kind of seem like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I just don't know how they've survived for 10 years as a business without any refund policy.
Right, exactly. And it's it's already managed, like it's DRM, you know, so it's like you can't take that game anywhere. It has to be through the Steam application.
Yeah.
So it's already kind of locked in, as it were, and then just even more so because you can't get rid of it. It's nice to see that they're trying. Yeah, I going back, I do agree. I think it's definitely a good thing, a good step in the right direction. But again, that I have never really had a super bad experience with them. So I just think, cool, more power to them.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I mean, I think sort of having a bad experience with Steam is dead now. I think they killed it, which is great because Steam's it's a great platform.
Yeah, Yeah.
Valve, if you want to sponsor me, I know you're listening.
Now it's just like a Steam commercial here for sure.
Yeah, everybody go download Steam. Refund all your games and give me the money.
Yeah. What do you think about the future of Steam, though? And this is kind of an interesting thing because I've thought about this a little bit of just what would happen if like Steam just shuts down? Like, what if Valve goes under and Steam is no longer a thing? Everyone loses their 560 games, right?
Well, that's the thing. I've read up on that because I've invested a lot of money into Steam.
Yeah.
And I have read up on that. And there's it's kind of like a warranty thing all the way in like the fine print. And it says that if Valve ever does go, like if Steam is ever disbanded for some reason, that all your games will be made available offline.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe not offline, but I think it was available in some form.
Yeah.
So I think, and I mean, like if you're bankrupt, the last thing you're thinking about is anyone else.
Right, right.
But it's still noble that they sort of address that.
Yeah, that is a good thing. See, that's good to know because that's always like been in the back of my mind, and it's like I'm putting a lot of trust in Valve to follow through with their end of the bargain. You know?
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it though, because there's so many like titles from. I mean, like they're all hosted on their servers. Clearly, like would they just make every game available to the public? I don't. How would they even do that?
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the refund policy and how massive that would, of an undertaking that would be, I can't even imagine that end of it.
Yeah.
If it comes to
like
that.
If they ever do go bankrupt, the last thing they can afford is server space and like bandwidth.
Right.
But then they're like, oh guys, just download it all. I don't know. It seems a bit disingenuous.
Yeah, and I just think it's in everyone's best interest that they don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
let's
like,
keep Steam the monopoly, guys.
I know. It's kind of like this weird. We've all gone so deep into it now that any other option just seems like a bad idea, and yet that in itself is like, oh, what have we done?
Yeah, everybody has too much to lose at this point. Yeah. We have to keep this train rolling.
Like it's kind of dangerous, and I mean that gives them a lot of power.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if it wasn't for GOG, Steam would pretty much have a monopoly because no one uses Origin or Uplay. Let's get real. Exactly.
I mean, it's almost arguable that they already even do.
Which is really weird to think that someone with such market control has such a good sort of, I mean, excluding paid mods and all of the screw-ups of the past 10 years, we have refunds now, and Steam's at its like biggest point ever.
Yeah. And
so
it makes it
they genuinely
more,
are good guys.
Yeah. It makes it even more poignant that they're doing right because they do have that much power. They could, I don't know, become super evil and screw us all over, and yet they don't. And they're making extreme efforts to make sure that their customers are happy. So it makes it even more cool to see that because with how much they have riding on everything.
Yeah. Steam are the PC market at this point.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. When there's a game that you could get that's not on Steam, I'm like, well.
Yeah, I'm gonna download it and then forget about it and lose it. And
yeah,
I won't remember the logins for the site that I bought it from. And
exactly. Yeah. Oh, I made this weird account to buy this one game. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very odd. So what about like, I mean, that's like worst case scenario future of Steam. What if it all goes down? But what about like just what else could they do now to improve it even more? What are some other things that we as customers would want to make Steam an even better experience?
I've always been, because the second they released, like they opened the floodgates to just any game that anyone could even dream of. Steam just took a hit. Like I used to check the storefront every day and like I'd check what was on sale, but like with 10 to 20 games releasing every day, it's just unfeasible. They need stricter control, or at least like, I don't know, only a certain amount of early access games.
Yeah.
every year would be nice.
Yeah.
Sort of incentivize people to finish their game so they can put it on Steam.
Well, Greenlight was kind of a tough beast because of that kind of thing, right? It became.
Yeah.
In fact, we were just talking before we started recording. We were saying before paid mods, I felt like there was something they did that people were questioning, and I think that's what I was thinking of, was just the whole Greenlight process, and that it's really easy for bad games to make it through, and so it became a flooded market of terrible indies.
Yeah.
And that was something people really didn't like.
Yeah, I'm all for... Because the general argument you'll hear against it is, oh, it's a free market. Like, people put out whatever they want, and, you know, people will adopt it as they see fit if it's good. And it's like, but they can't, because you've got, like, Ford Racing 2005 clogging their feed and, like, preventing them from finding good games.
Yeah.
It's just at a certain point, people will just stop buying from the... Oh, sorry.
No,
Will just stop buying things from the front of the storefront and only get things through word of mouth because the store's just a mess.
Yeah. That is true. That's very true. Like, I don't ever go to the front page anymore and just look for deals. I just don't.
Yeah.
Because it's too much.
Yeah. I generally only put a game on my wish list, and like I pretty much exclusively buy from my wish list at this point.
Yeah.
If, you know, someone's like, oh, this game's good, you should check it out, I'll be like, oh, I'll put that on my wish list.
Absolutely.
Wait for a sale.
It's that, honestly, I'm in the exact same boat. That's totally it. Word of mouth, you hear about a game, add it to your wish list, wait for a sale.
Yeah. It's sad because I remember, like, the reason I got to so many games is because I just looked through the storefront and be like, oh, that looks neat.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
I used to all the time. And I still will during sales, because, like, that's obviously where they'll put the sales.
They really clean it up during the sales.
They do, and that's
showcase
kind of the funny
stuff.
thing. They clean it way up for the sales.
Yeah.
But,
You
yeah.
just need to do that all the time.
Uh-huh. So I agree, and that's a big one for me, is I like Greenlight as an idea, and obviously some of the really good games wouldn't make it without Greenlight either. But
Yeah.
but it's like, would they though? Because I feel like I don't know. It's hard to say. Like Shovel Knight, I remember when they did their Kickstarter and everything, they were like, "All right, we're on Greenlight. Everyone go vote us in." And I just thought, do they even need to be greenlit like everything else? Like, obviously it's going to be...
Yeah. Well, there was a sort of problem with that a while ago, where I think if you had a publisher, you had to, like, you couldn't go through Greenlight or something like that. So even like really, really small companies who somehow got like funding or like advertising or something from a publisher were still sort of being pushed back by Greenlight. And clearly that's like a double-edged sword, because like you've got the people who need it still,
Yeah.
and then the people who clearly don't because they have a big publisher. I don't know. Greenlight's a mess, man.
Well, and that was the other thing, that people didn't like Greenlight because you could just go and get a bunch of votes and get in. Like, it wasn't a foolproof system. There wasn't quality control
Yeah.
to make sure. So like someone could just go and get all their friends to vote it in, and then it would be in.
Yeah. I mean,
so it is
honestly,
kind
I'm
of
not
a mess.
sure. I'm not sure why you would at this point, because I think most people avoid the Steam store at this point,
Yeah.
just because of how, I don't know, what's the word? Oversaturated it is.
Exactly. Yeah. It is.
Like, I don't know. If I made a game, I probably wouldn't want it on Steam just for that reason. Like, it's just going to get overlooked.
It is. It's weird. And I think that's why, even though it is on Steam, because obviously it should be, but that's not how you're going to get noticed, just being on Steam.
Yeah.
Right?
Which was a completely different case like even like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, if you were on Steam, people were looking at your game.
Mm-hmm. It's so weird how that's changed, because you're exactly right. Now it needs word of mouth through other things, and I think YouTube plays a big part in that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Also, subscribe to Snoman Gaming. www.youtube.com/ I think it's just Snoman Gaming.
It is just Snoman
Subscribe today.
I'll play your game and it'll get promoted. But totally, I see it all the time where like Game Grumps. People will send them their game and be like, hey, can you please play this? It'll spread it around word of mouth. And then it totally works because they have a big audience, and then people check out their game.
I actually have a beef with the Game Grumps because that's the reason I own a Wii U, and it was nowhere near as fun as they made it look. And I want my $400 back, Aaron, if you're listening.
Hey, Game Grumps should have a refund policy for
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
games that they
refund
made you
all
buy.
that ad revenue that I gave you.
You know what's really funny though, because I did the exact same thing where I saw them play a game and I thought that looks really cool, and then I saw it on sale and I was like, oh, I'll get it, and it sucked, and I was like, man, I did it just because they played it. Why'd I do that?
Yeah, maybe we're just idiots.
I know, we're just
really
giving
dumb.
away that was dumb of us to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, games on Steam isn't enough to get noticed anymore. It's a very oversaturated market, and I think Greenlight played a huge part in that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there was nothing better than like just going through the Steam store and being able to hit the end of the game list.
It's funny because I'm right there with you. Exactly. You could go through and say, oh, what are the new games they've added lately? And there was only 10 or something, and you're like, oh, cool, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no. Just not going to do that.
I just don't have a week to go through what released today.
Exactly. Yeah. So I agree. That's something I would like to see, is some sort of quality assurance. But talk about massive undertakings, right? Because we were talking about all the things that would take so much, but that would be a good one.
Well, they had it at one point. Like they've done it before. There's no reason they can't go back and do it again.
Yeah.
But I think the refunds, to bring it back around, I think the refunds will sort of incentivize people to have a good, complete product instead of just dumping whatever crap on Steam. Because like if you drop a crap game and people are like, oh, this is awful, let's get a refund, you're gonna feel that, and Valve's gonna feel that, and they're gonna be like, look, you're not making us money, we're not dealing with you anymore. At least I'd hope that's what they'd be like.
Yeah. And that was my other like first gut instinct with it, is I do think it's good for that side of it too, that hey, look, like clearly people are not enjoying the product you've made, like that everyone's refunding it, they're buying it and realizing it's garbage, so then we just boot it off, you know? And that would be, I think, best case scenario, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what will end up happening or not.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting no matter what happens.
It's still so new that there isn't a lot to know about how it operates yet, but definitely worth talking about.
Yeah. I think it's probably, even if you're not like a Reddit user, it's probably a good idea to watch the Steam subreddit for the next couple of months just to see how everything unfolds.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good idea. People's experiences with the refunds.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else you'd like to add about just Steam in general, or maybe specifically?
I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
When it comes to Steam being really stupid and then just being smart one day.
That is the weird thing, is it's like, oh, what? Why did they do that? And then like, yeah, good job, Steam.
Yeah, you look back and you're like, that's why they did that.
Yeah. It's a very interesting beast, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It really did kind of just open my eyes, though, when I realized how much we all really do have invested in it. Like,
yeah, it's like being in on some big business thing that if it ever tanked, we'd all just be poor and sad. And
we're like stockholders, whether we want to be or not.
Yeah,
hostage stockholders.
Yeah, too bad we don't have any influence on Valve.
Right. And yet they at least it seems anyway that they're trying to hear what we want. So
yeah, they're giving it a go, and considering the state of their competition, they're definitely giving it a go for the sake of giving it a go, instead of just like, oh, these guys are doing things better than we are.
It's true.
Let's face it, no one's doing anything better than Valve at the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe GOG, but that's no one knows what that is.
Right. Yeah. In comparison of like users, I mean, not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I want. Valve is cleaned up marketplace, right?
I think that's that's just what everybody needs.
Yeah.
Like even if they don't want it, they need that.
Mm-hmm.
It's oxygen at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the other side is like I hate to say like, oh, but then this guy doesn't get his game on Steam, but like I don't know, maybe I'm just too nice. I feel like it makes sense that no, if your game sucks, it shouldn't be on there.
Exactly.
Because honestly, what it does is it lowers Steam's reputation, right? If Steam lets every single developer and their mother who's never made a game before put their games on Steam, then Steam becomes a pile of garbage.
It's just like a dumping ground for
exactly
unfinished, messy products.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you don't want it to be that because there's going to be a point where that overpowers the good games, and that's not good.
I think we've hit that point.
Yeah, and it might even be now. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So, yeah, clean up that marketplace.
Yeah, clean up your room, Gabe.
Yeah, come on, Gabe. You know, Gabe's nearby here. It's funny because like Valve is in Bellevue, and that's like 10 minutes away from me.
That's awesome.
I should just go up to his door.
Yeah, just be like, look, your marketplace is really messy. I'm here to help you.
Yeah, look.
For like $60 an hour. But that's okay. I'm going to help.
And here's because I am very qualified to tell you how to run your business. But awesome.
You're the average internet user. You're more qualified than he is.
The sad thing is a lot of people would think so.
Yeah.
They're like, I am. I know way more.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine.
That's the other part that eye-opened me just talking about it is it's a huge operation to run Steam. And even in its infancy, what a huge thing. And then now, I just can't even imagine.
Yeah, there's a reason they need an entire office full of people.
Right.
Just to maintain that.
Like, I don't know how many people work at Valve, but it's got to be much, much bigger than I originally thought because I just can't even imagine. Yeah.
I'd say it's at least like Gabe and then maybe a couple other people.
That's it, right? They're just hole in the wall. Yeah. Low budget operation. No, it is. It's got to be because of just how massive it is.
I mean, like, there's still game developers at the end of the day. So you've got the game developers, you've got the people managing the platform, and then you've got the fact that they would need a lot of, like, tech guys always on hand for any server problem that ever happens.
Exactly. You would need it back
if Steam
up
goes down
immediately.
If Steam goes down for 5 minutes, the internet will die.
It would blow up, yeah.
It would.
It is weird, though, because when I think of Valve, I don't think big AAA budget company. But they are.
I think it's because Gabe's been such a strong, like, face.
Yeah.
He's really cemented his face with the company and the brand. So it's like you feel like it's just a humble, modest guy who's just trying to give everybody some games.
You know what, though? It's true. And say what you want about Valve, but you got to say, too, because, yeah, Gabe totally has that. Any interview you see with him, it's like, yeah, what a solid dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would like to sit down and have a chat with him and just have everything he say fly straight over my head. It would be a humbling experience.
But I do think that is kind of what makes a difference, because even though they are such a huge company, it's like they feel more relatable because of things like that. Or maybe it's just a respect thing or whatever, but I feel totally different about Valve than any other big budget AAA company.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's probably not a good attitude to have, but it is how it is.
Right, whether it's warranted or wrong, I mean, respect.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, hey, man, thanks for being on for snoCast. I had a blast.
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad that the hashtag Casp for snoCast worked.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say refund DayZ.
Oh, that's a happening thing.
Yeah, that one's already happening.
To show you. It just goes to show the average Tumblr user that hashtags really do work.
Hashtag Casp for snoCast finally paid off.
I'm going to keep it going.
Good. Just keep it. After this one posts, be like, again, do it again.
Yeah.
We'd have to find another picture of Alan Rickman to put up.
That can be arranged.
Totally. Well, yeah, I appreciate it greatly. Thank you for being on. We'll go to the end slate now, and we'll show off a bit of your channel. You can click on Casposaurus, check him out. Lots of great content. Any parting words as we take our leave?
Not really. No, I think I'm extremely happy to have to have spoken to you, because I've wanted to speak to you since I was introduced to your channel, and I've been like, oh, that's a guy I need to talk with. So I'm glad that we had this.
I am too, man. I'm glad that we crossed paths. It's been a pleasure. And this is why I like doing the snoCast, man, because it's just a chill conversation with friends, man. That's the laid back atmosphere I want.
And you get to share it with the world.
Yeah, totally. I look forward to this stuff because it's just talking with buds about topics, man.
It's great. Never stop.
Well, thank you guys for watching as an audience. As always, you can leave comments of future topic ideas for snoCast. If there's something you'd like to see talked about in the future, it just might make it on the show. You never know. But go ahead and put it in the comments, or you can also put it on the Snoman Gaming subreddit, which is super weird to me that that's a thing, but you can do it there as well. Thanks again for watching. Thanks one last time to Casposaurus for being on, and we'll see you guys on the next snoCast. Bye-bye.